right. So go
Yeah.
ahead, Alex.
So we had to while we were waiting for you, Chris, we're like trying to hold off on all these cool topics because like Mel said, it's only legit the first time you say it. It's not the same when you have to redo it. So
Yeah, yeah.
um
He was like,
but
ask me questions. I was like, I'm not going to answer you right now.
um but yeah, Mel, why don't you introduce yourself to our followers and our listeners and we'll go from there. Not that you need much of an introduction.
Oh, okay. Well, hello, listeners of the Lifted Pod. My name is Melissa Brodsky. On Instagram, I go by the Mel Bro, and I am an Ifbb figure pro, and that's just one of the things that I do and I'm interested in. There's a lot of stuff, but that's how I'm known is through bodybuilding.
What are the other things you do? Because, often in the bodybuilding community, we just identify ourselves as bodybuilders, but we're so much
Right.
more than that.
Well, I mean, it's I don't it's not like my professions or like other career stuff. It's like things I'm interested in that I spend a lot of time on, either in my head or like the people that I choose to have conversations with, the kind of people that energize me. It's not. I mean, some happen to be in bodybuilding, but it's not. It's usually, and I mean, no offense by this, but it's usually not the people who revolve everything around bodybuilding, right? Like
Yes.
that to me is, and I'm sure it's very satisfying for a lot of people. To me, it feels very one dimensional. And how my brain works is I need layers. I
Yes.
need lots of stuff going on.
That's good. So that goes into, I guess, a question that I had beyond the physical transformation. How have you seen bodybuilding just transform you mentally and emotionally, spiritually?
Wow. I've been doing this since I was a child. So, along with, I've grown in life and into adulthood while doing the bodybuilding thing. I think that's another reason that it's not like everything I do, because I went through life with it as it's like brushing my teeth, the training, eating, cardio. That's the simplest part of my day. Um, but how has it transformed me? It's it's always been a light at the end of the tunnel for me. Knowing, understanding that there's a formula to achieve an outcome, and it's non-negotiable. You can't argue that doesn't exist in this. So, in any kind of adversity that I've faced through life, um, I've always felt like this gives me a path. It gives me a direction. It gives me an understanding that I can accomplish X, Y, Z because it translates. Everything is a formula. So even if I really want to emphasize the fact that when I say the light at the end of the tunnel, or like, using bodybuilding as that, I'm not talking about the stage. Not at all. That is one day, a couple days a year in the grand scheme of it. Bodybuilding is the act of applying a formula day in and day out, and achieving and building upon that. So, and there's comfort in knowing that that's set in stone. Now, another nuance is that you don't always know exactly what boxes to check.
Yep.
That's a whole different topic of being, you can be with different coaches, you can be following the plan and you're not achieving. Well, you're checking the wrong boxes and you just don't know it. So finding that is another thing. But yeah, I mean, bodybuilding has it's I've chosen to use it as something that teaches me that I can, that it blank is achievable.
Yeah.
Um, and this is kind of goes with, checking the right boxes. You have to recognize when something isn't working. in life and in bodybuilding. And it's not quitting. It's not giving up. It's not disbelieving. It's being intentional and rational and pulling back and getting some perspective and changing something up. And that could be an entirely different direction in life, you know?
I,
So that kind of stuff.
I think everyone, it's so cliche, but everyone talks about how bodybuilding can be applied to everything in life, and it's just so true. I think the biggest takeaway though is to be conscious throughout the process because you could go through bodybuilding blindly and miss out on that part of the journey. Where you're not learning about yourself because you're just following the plan and you're kind of switching your brain off.
Going through the
But
motions.
going through it a little bit more spiritually and a little bit more holistically, like if you're thinking about it consciously through the bulk or through the prep or whatever the stage it is, that's where you really learn about yourself. And it could be applied to your life in so many different ways. Like bodybuilding is so unique to the person. Like I do think a lot of bodybuilders have had hardship in the past or something to overcome because the kind of people that do bodybuilding are welcoming a challenge for an end result that's better than where they started. So maybe it's the reciprocal kind of that cycle of going through something hard and then getting relief. And in terms of like checking the boxes, it's like the beautiful thing about it in terms of like the science aspect is that if you follow the plan, like you might not win the show, but you can definitely look better than when you started. Like that is controllable 100%. You may not win, you might not hit top five or whatever it is. You never know who shows up. But can you get better than where you were? 100% if you follow the plan. So that's personally like what you're talking about, where I can see where you're coming from. And I was thinking about this the other day about how like it's so individual to the person and what it means to a person. So I guess I know you've been doing this for a long time, Mel, but what was, because you said you played field hockey in the past. I know you've been a lifelong athlete, but what was it for you that gave you this drive to do what you're doing? I mean, you just got top five at the Pittsburgh Pro. That is massive. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Um, Part of the 1%, right? Like people talk about the Olympians, but like the Olympia is one thing. The Pittsburgh Pro is it's no small show. So
They call it the Olympia Junior, right?
yeah, yeah,
Cool.
it's up there with it's going to be up there with the Arnold soon, in terms of like prestige. So I'm curious, like, what got you to start and how it's progressed throughout the sport for you.
Well, I I've never okay. When I was a kid, I didn't know what bodybuilding was as a sport. I'd never been around bodybuilders, anything like that. I played field hockey from when I was 8 to 18. I started bodybuilding when I was 16, and kind of wasn't as attentive at field hockey practice. Um, those final 2 years, and I remember, not getting my starting spot some of the time because I didn't show up to practice all the time because I was doing other stuff. But so basically, I chose bodybuilding over field hockey. You can't get a scholarship for bodybuilding.
Wait,
Sorry,
so
mom
where
and
was
dad.
it? This was in like high school or college that you started?
High school.
High school, high school. Okay.
Yeah. So I started bodybuilding like junior year of high school. I started lifting when I was 12. And then when I was 16, I had to write this paper on someone whose job I admired, and I followed around this trainer. And it turns out he coached bodybuilding. I didn't know what bodybuilding was. Um, but I had been lifting for years already at that point, and I knew that there had to be some better formula. I was on like bodybuilding.com and stuff. Like I knew to work out per muscle group and all this stuff, but I needed some guidance. And I found this trainer, and my parents basically said, if we're going to pay for a trainer, you need a goal. Turns out he coached women into bikini competitions, so I was like, I'm going to do that. And I did it, and I placed fifth, so I got a medal, and I was like, this is my thing. And I started carrying my cooler, my 6-pack bag around school, and my water. And I mean, when I went to parties, I had my jug of water and I drove, and um, I just, it was like you just do what your coach writes to you, and then this happens to your physique. Okay. Like it was like a no-brainer for me, and it
Input,
was really
input,
fun.
output,
And
input,
huh?
output, input, output.
Yeah, which is so cool. And I already was lifting anyway, so now I'm just lifting according to a plan. And it's, it's very satisfying to have structure. Yeah, does that answer the question?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I was thinking about this the other day. It's one thing to start bodybuilding when you're an adult, but like starting it when you're in school is hard. I mean, my mom and my dad always are talking about, oh, I wish you didn't have to sacrifice so much and all this, but I'm like, honestly, I'm not sacrificing that much because I love the process so much that like not going out all the time and I wouldn't be going to clubs anyway. I'm 35, like I'm over that phase of my life. I got that steam out, but you started when everyone is kind of blowing steam out and like
Yeah, your
that
friend group had to
was
be
that
way
was that
different.
just
Yeah.
because of the
I
pure love of
I
it, or like was that harder than now, for example, where it's like, okay, you're at a different stage of your life now, you know?
look, okay. I've had a really strange way of going about everything.
Great. We love
Um,
weird. It's great. Get it's
yeah.
weird. Yeah.
So in high school, before I officially started prep, um, I like sophomore year of high school, I partied. Like I not crazy. At least, well, then I thought it was crazy because that's what my mom said. But turns out, compared to other people I've met throughout life, I was an angel. Um, I drank and whatever at parties, and then come junior year, I always thought like I was gonna have a crazy college experience, like partying and everything.
Right.
I didn't do college that way at all. I bounced around like five different colleges, bodybuilding the whole time. Never got into like, party scenes or anything like that. Um, but sometimes I would go out with roommates and stuff, and I would, I had a rule for myself. If I smoked, if I drank, I wouldn't eat. So I never like associated weed with munchies or being drunk with eating late night pizza.
Pizza,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah. I just didn't do it. And then but look, I'm not then for a few years I literally like, I didn't go out and have fun. I lived with a boyfriend for a couple years during COVID. We were in West Virginia. There was nothing to do.
Right.
um Oh, I left out a whole really important thing about me, but I'll skip over that and get back to it. Um, but okay, over these last couple years since I've lived in Tampa, I have had my share of fun. I just I just don't. I'm an extremist. I'm not going to sit here and say I don't go overboard. I go overboard when I do it, but that's what makes me such a great bodybuilder too. It's just time and place, right? And when it's time to lock in, it's time to lock in. But it's not. I've never gone off the rails where I'm not training, I'm not eating, I'm not whatever. Um, but I did discover festivals, when I moved to
I was
Tampa.
actually going to ask you about that because I was
Yeah,
following you, pre-pit. I think it was like 2 weeks out or something.
sure.
Your
Four
friends
weeks.
were like admiring your abs in the mirror. It was actually a really cool video. It was like, I don't know. I think a lot of people that go to festivals do bodybuilding. I've noticed. Um,
Yeah,
I don't know.
Because you're burning calories dancing.
Yeah, no, it's just
that
interesting.
and
A lot
and
of bodybuilders do it into festivals.
it's
Yeah.
the intensity of the. I think bodybuilders generally like you need a lot of stimulation to feel, right?
Oh, that's deep.
Yeah, and I think like festivals where there's EDM, it's very like I was saying before, it's very layered. Like we need a lot of and all that chaos outside of us, whether it's music or stupid heavy weight or an amount of reps that sends your body into literal physical shock. We need that. and we chase that. So that's why I think we congregate to these places.
I I like that. We need a
Yeah.
lot to
Well,
feel
well,
like.
look at it from like the mental health side. Do you feel that that's kind of like a distraction,
What is?
like being overstimulated all the time?
I mean, I think all the time, yes. That's why, there was like a year when I was like when I first discovered this stuff, it was all the time, and then it kind of like my nervous system
Yes,
was shot.
overstimulated. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, I absolutely think it's a problem doing it all the time, and now I've kind of come to this like, sometimes I listen to I don't know, like Lana Del Rey and like Sleep Token, and I still love my EDM for certain moments, but I'm very in tune with how it feels in my body when I put on certain music.
Right.
And I want to like find like something comfy that doesn't feel irritating. And I'm
yeah.
sure Alex, you being 3 weeks out, you can attest to that, being able to kind of feel how things
Your
make you feel.
energy.
Yeah, I've noticed that like I get a little schizo when I get close to a show. Like I get very anxious, and then like even finding a movie I want to watch is hard. Like I don't have the attention span, and so I end up watching. I notice the closer I get to a show, the more I watch something I've already seen before. That it's like a comfort, right? That
You
I'm
want
not.
it to feel good.
Yeah, I just like I know what to expect, and I know it's gonna make me feel good, as opposed to starting something brand new, or binging on like something like super, like literally Dragon Ball Z or something so simple and like maybe childhood comfort, something that's like gonna keep me a little bit more relaxed. And then music too. By the way, please, if you have like Spotify playlists or whatever, share with us because I need some new jams.
I use SoundCloud mostly.
I love so SoundCloud is
SoundCloud.
so good for mixes and
Yeah.
remixes, and then Spotify is more for like general music. But I'm when people ask me like what my type of music is, I'm all over the place. Like
Yes.
I love EDM. I would say EDM house is like my favorite in dance, but I do love some hip hop here and there. I actually like country in certain situations. Like it's just I'm all over the place.
Yeah.
Whereas
I
like my
like
friend, yeah, like my friend G only listens to hip hop. Like that's his thing. Like
I don't. I have some friends like that, and the thing is, like, I don't believe you. Like, I believe that you only listen to that, but that can't always feel right, and you just like haven't let something else in. Like you just, and
Well,
that's
I prefer,
actually,
no, I do prefer like EDM in house. Like that's my go-to. It's just that
but
I
that's
will,
also a very
yeah.
like you can get a lot of different
Do you
feelings
know,
from
well, my
sound.
favorite of all time is Avicii, favorite all time. And I saw him live in Frankfurt years ago.
Oh
And I'm
wow.
so glad I did that because obviously in hindsight, I didn't know idea it was going to pass like a few years later. Um, just hearing Levels live, sitting on my buddy's shoulders was like one of the best experiences of my life. I don't know if you heard of Lane 8, but Lane Eight's like a look them up after because they're it's like a very chill type of beat. Um, it gets me in my feels, you know, like some music just speaks to you. So I've definitely found certain artists that I like, but generally speaking, a lot of music I'll like certain songs from certain artists, but not like all of their songs.
That's why I hate the question. I hate like the question on any topic, what's your favorite blank? When someone's like, what's your favorite music? I'm like, okay, if I say rap and then you play a rap song and I hate that song, you're gonna be like, well, I thought you like rap. Well,
You
True.
kind of put yourself in a box when you
right.
just limit
I will
yourself.
not answer the question, what's your favorite blank? And I know it's so annoying and complicated the way that I'm like, I'll explain why I won't answer it. And then people are like, just like answer the question. And I'm like, I can't because the second I do, you're gonna categorize me, and I refuse.
Yeah. I guess it's like when I have a playlist before a show that I'll put all the songs that get me going for a show, and I've just noticed that it's kind of sporadic in terms of like maybe there's some Linkin Park, maybe there's some, like it's kind of all over the place because there's
Mm.
different songs from different artists speak to me at different times, and it's kind of like based on your mood. So, and obviously I'm very different before a show than I am kind of 8 months before a show. So, um, yeah, no, that's really cool that you're into that scene and you found something that gives you that stimulus. What show was that you went to before Tampa?
It was Wooly at Red Rocks.
The Red Rocks.
Yeah.
Right. So are you the kind of person that is able to handle I guess a lot of bodybuilders would just completely shut down before a show, right? And probably would say no to that. But maybe it's because you've done this for so long that it's like you're very robotic about the steps and like bringing your water. I mean, I thought like I know you were driving. I think you were originally moving somewhere else to what, maybe Denver or something, and then you were like stopping at different gyms on the way, and you had your meals and your water. So like
Like I
obviously,
said, I like the chaos. I make chaos outside of me because that keeps me internally more stable. Like if I wasn't doing that stuff, I don't even I don't know. That's why I do that stuff because it like I'm gonna check all my boxes for the day, but there's constant movement around me. But
right.
I will say, um, that I went to that show 4 weeks out from my show,
Mhm.
and that was the last thing I could have possibly done.
Right.
Now, given maybe that's what burnt me out, but but I saw God, and it was incredible, and it like lit this fire under my ass that I already had, but even more.
Right.
Because it's beautiful. The visuals and Red Rocks is like you're like on the edge of the earth,
Right.
and I knew, I'm a fucking spectacle at that point. I was shredded. And I needed that and it was awesome. But if you had asked me a week later to do it again, I'd say
No.
fuck off. I'm
Yeah.
not moving.
I and I mean, so your friend group, would you say you have mostly bodybuilder friends or it's a good mix? Because I know the people that are with you were looking at you like you're some Greek goddess, and not that other bodybuilders wouldn't appreciate how you looked, but
You got that video? Can you pull it up?
um, I think that was on your story. Did you post it on
Oh,
your gram? I gotta
Yeah,
find this.
it's yeah, if you scroll down on my Instagram. You want me to pull it up or do you um
I'll find it.
it's
Uh,
or there's a photo and then there's a reel from
just because I know you've been posting a lot lately, so I don't know how far back. Oh wait, well I found a picture. Hold on, I'll just
yeah,
share my
there's a
screen.
photo. The
Hold on.
reel is from
Okay, so so this
oh
was
yeah, you're almost there. It's down. Yeah, right there. No, you just passed it. Up, up,
uh,
up,
uh, oh
right
yeah,
there.
this is the one.
Yeah.
We get the tunes going.
sheesh.
Yeah, it looks sick. Holy shit.
Like the hair.
Thank you.
Yeah, they're like, that's awesome. That was a great video.
I wonder what it would be like to like never have seen, we're so numb to it because like I train at my 40. I see people that look like this every day of my life.
Right.
Um, I sometimes wonder. Me and two of my girlfriends we went out to dinner after Tampa Pro. My friend Shauna, placed fourth in figure, and me, Shauna, and my friend Jill, we went out to dinner, and we're wearing like tight dresses, like normal, whatever. And I was like, I wonder what it's like to see us coming, like to be on the other side of that.
Yeah, on the outside looking in,
We're,
yeah.
we're so
Yeah.
desensitized to it, and it's natural,
Mhm.
just the way we are with our own bodies. We get, body dysmorphia, so for the outside, and we forget, especially when you're in prep. Like, and I was actually talking about this with the guys the other day. It's like the amount of DMs I get about, oh, you look so good and incredible. I'm like, I appreciate it, but where were you when I was eating 6,000 calories a day and stuffing myself with food to make the progress I needed to make? And, people see the end
Hey, at least
result.
you're not getting the you looked better
Well,
before. I like your off season
we're gonna
better.
get to that in a minute. But I think and I get it, right? Like people don't quite understand the process. When you're shredded, they're gonna really like pay attention. But I do want to preface this to the listeners that most of the work done, unless you're like a Chris Bumstead, is done in your off season. Make sure that your off seasons are productive and give yourself the best shot at having a smooth prep. Like don't I see a lot of people just going off the deep end in the off season and then they have to counter it with such an intense prep. And I
Which
like
if you're
I
training to grow in prep,
Yeah, you're not gonna grow in a
exactly,
deficit.
exactly.
Yeah.
yeah.
So like I like for me, I took an 18-month off season. Like I haven't stepped on stage since 2023. I had to gain size. Like there's just no way around it. And so I just want to like the message to people that are listening, like take your time and make sure you give yourself the best shot to not have to put your body through so much in prep. The prep will always be hard. Some preps will be harder than others, but the off season is so important.
Enjoy the journey, man.
Yeah.
That's the,
Yeah.
I guess that's a key takeaway. Mel, that
Also,
brings up, oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
okay. I just want to say your body and mind
Yep.
Yep.
are very important because prep, you mentioned body dysmorphia before. There's just this you're trying to achieve a certain thing in prep, and the truth is like that it takes time to get there, but every day you're gonna look in the mirror and want to be there already, and that's just not how it works. So prep is very taxing on you mentally, along with you're hungry, you're not just hungry, you're actually like, chemically starving. And your brain just isn't going to function the same, so it's important to take care in the off season of that as well. And I'm doing a bit of that now, but we can talk about that when we get to it. What were you about to say, Chris?
That was my gonna be my question. I know for because I'm a guy, so I look at it differently. For females, do you have any tips or guidance of how to deal with the body dysmorphia and all these complications that we we get
Mm,
after post show?
well, I'm sorry. I'm gonna say I don't really think it matters if you're a guy or a girl. I really don't.
No, I didn't mean it like that. I meant like I know how I handle it.
Yeah, I think it's not male versus female handling. I think it's emotional versus rational handling it.
Okay.
If you're going to be in this game, you have to understand that you are doing certain things at certain times with a specific purpose. And I think I know I can speak personally in that when I'm not doing what I promise myself I'm going to do, I'm not going to say what I'm supposed to do because the plan isn't, the word of God. It's like, I'm not doing the plan because my coach wants me to do it. I'm paying for the plan because I want to do it. So if I'm not keeping promises to myself, I'm probably not happy with how I look. And that's not the honesty and the doing what I know will make me feel good comes before um, what I think about how I look, right? What I feel about the way that I look is a reflection of how I'm treating myself. So if I'm if I'm off season, look, right now I've been off all PEDs for 2 months. I'm not quite in my official off season. I'm in a health detox phase. My calories are, I'm 600 calories a day or something up from where I was when I started this, when I finished my season. And I'm softer. I'm not super vascular, but I'm really comfortable and happy in my body. Even though, I'm a little bit watery and I have a little bit more body fat, but I'm happy in my body because I I'm doing the things that I told myself I'm going to do. Now I've been in the position where I've not, where I, was binge eating and not doing, and like stopped doing cardio because fuck it, my season's over. Really hard to get back in the gym or pushing really hard in the gym and not giving my body time to kind of reset. And in those instances, I did not like how I looked because I wasn't caring for myself.
Right.
So I think that's what it comes down to. And
And
same with in prep. If
and
you're
it's
doing all the prep things, what was it?
I was saying you look incredible right now. And I think
Thank
what you're saying is I really resonate with that mind and body being aligned because I think your quads are quadding right now. Like your quads look good. Like so, yes, maybe not as vascular, but your shape is. And I think, and I want to talk about this too because your aesthetics and I'm not gonna say one of those people say I called it. She's gonna get top five at Pitt, but like I knew that you were going to come back a lot better than before. Just because I knew, and you have such an aesthetic look, and I do want to get into the social media piece of this because it's a little ironic about all these comments about, oh, she has a deeper voice or a man, because I actually think you're probably one of the more feminine figure athletes I've seen, which is just like and maybe it's just because you're more willing to share about it, and like a lot of these people or these athletes are getting these kinds of messages, but you to me, and maybe I know I'm in bodybuilding, so my reference point is a little different, but I'm not comparing you to the average Joe, but even comparatively to bodybuilders, you have a much more feminine look to you. So I did want to talk a bit about how you've been managing social media. I know you tend to handle it kind of head on and just you're very transparent. So
Yeah. I I get almost no validation from the general population. Okay, no, I get no validation, no extrinsic validation from the random followers, the people who come across my page, whatever. The only people that make me feel validated um, are people that I respect. So if I don't know you, if I don't respect you, and I'm not saying I disrespect any of these people, and any of these random,
hmm.
whether they're just passersby on my page or they're trolls. I don't care. Um, no disrespect. I just don't.
You tune it out.
You haven't done anything that I look up to, so why would I care what you have to say? If anything, you're insecure, and that's sad.
Projecting, yeah.
Um, and I'm not going to attack you. Occasionally, if I have something really entertaining or I said something funny back, I'll put it up on my story. But I generally just I don't respond. I'm really happy with the things I do. I feel aligned with, and there's not a soul out there who can make me feel otherwise. Because I worked very hard to make sure that all the things I do, all the things I put out, all the people I put around me, all the people I listen to are ones that bring positive energy to me. So anything that's not that, I don't hate. I'm just completely indifferent. It can exist, but I don't fuck with it.
You set intentions with everything I see. Like it just sounds like that's the constant reoccurrence is intention, intention with your friends, intention with your circles, intent. So I guess that's a key takeaway. Set intentions,
Has
guys.
your circle gotten smaller as you get deeper into this journey of yours, or yeah, talk us a bit about how you select because we talk about this on every episode on purposefully. Having a really a good circle is so essential, and it goes along with what we were talking about with like mind over matter and being able to allow your mind to allow your body to make the changes it needs to. So I'm curious how you have gone around like figuring out who to keep around you, maybe when to cut things off, and how you go about that.
So first I'll say I think that we all have a limited amount of bandwidth. Um, and I think when you have relationships that are not serving you, and I don't mean like in a selfish way, I just mean in a bad energy kind of way, things that relationships that don't feel good, that are energy suckers, stuff like that, or where you're constantly explaining yourself, fighting, whatever it is. Um, in order to have positive relationships, to let other people in, you need to create space for them. So it's not, you can't wait for a replacement for, your friends. And I say that because I spent most of my uh 20s, like my late teens, early 20s, I didn't really have people. I didn't, and that was kind of just, no one felt good. Like I said, I went out with my roommate sometimes, but it wasn't my thing. I was always cool with people, but I didn't have a friend group. I didn't talk to a lot of people. I really barely texted anyone. I actually, when I lived in Dallas in 22 with Rachel Daniels, and she became my first friend that I ever like loved, like really was connected to. And I remember, I don't know if I said it to her or if I was thinking it, but at that time I was going to work. I socialized with her, and otherwise I was in prep, and I was home, and I remember, she talked to all these people all the time, and I couldn't even like fathom like texting a lot of people, and like how do you juggle all of these relationships and things like that, because I for so long just I just didn't. I just wanted to do the things I was doing, and I didn't really engage with others. And but then I was in Dallas because of bodybuilding, and I started to meet people more on my frequency. Honestly, like that's the best way I can put it.
Yep.
Because if I were to say in my world, that includes a lot. There's bodybuilding, but it's more refined than that. It's people who think closer to the way that I think, who make me feel good, and I started forming some relationships, and then when I moved to Tampa, um, I I was now getting used to like talking to people and learning to I remember thinking to myself, wow, I'm like texting like 10 people right now and I'm not stressed. Like I know how to
Yeah.
do this now. And it felt really good. And then my friend group got really big. And then I was able to refine again because I paid attention to what I liked and didn't like to be around. There were people who at this time I was going to, festivals and partying, but I knew who I was, and I know, what my real intentions in this life are right now, where my drive is, and there's nothing that can take away from that. And when there were people who were saying, "Oh, come hang out Sunday, come hang out," not do anything, just hang out. I was like, "No, you like being around me because of the person that I am and the drive that I have towards the things I do. You're asking me, you're annoyed that I don't want to hang out, but I'm going to lose who I am and the whole reason that you want to be around me if I start hanging out, if I start doing things, to make you, that's, I don't want to say make you feel good about not doing anything because it's okay to not do anything, but that doesn't feel good to me. Um, and yeah, so then I was able to again refine, and now I have some of the most beautiful, loving friendships. I am so lucky. I did it on purpose, but also I didn't find these people and decide to cross paths with them. I've just been very lucky to attract the most amazing people, and it's fewer and further between. But you got to weed them out.
Yeah. And people
Yeah.
change. People do change. Um, I think it's really important to realize as well, and that's okay. Um, and it's I know for me anyway, the group that I had around me last time I was competing was just completely different, completely different. So I'm really fortunate. I actually met G and Chris on stage together. We were in the same class.
Oh
So
well.
and look where it's led us. Now we have a podcast together, and it's just kind of steamrolling. I do at times kind of I'm definitely multifaceted though. Like I'm not just only a bodybuilder, right? Like I used to play professional lacrosse. So I do a lot of things. It's just, right now this is my season. Like this is what I love to do. And I think I resonate with you a little bit because like I have to go all into something. Like I can't do something 1 foot in, 1 foot out. And I people talk about like having balance in bodybuilding. Personally, I don't think balance is possible. I think not having balance is okay, depending on how you go about it. Like, I think it's perfectly okay to be all in on something and sacrifice other things to make it happen. Like, in terms of balance, like, what does that even mean? And I guess it means something different to everyone, but um, what does
I,
that
I,
like,
I, like
you
to
know?
me, I think like to Mel's point, like if you're so in tune with yourself that you understand like, okay, this person or this environment serves me or it doesn't, and you're able to, move around that, then you're never really drained. You're able to be like, okay, I'm 100% me right now. I'm not, hanging out with these people that just want to consume my energy. And yeah, I think that's where the balance comes in.
Yeah, and I do want to say it's not always like these people want to consume my energy, because it's your responsibility. It's no one's taking anything from you. You have to
Right.
be
Unless you allow
aware.
it. Yeah,
Well
unless
said.
you
Huh?
allow, because some people allow it and then they get dragged into these situations. So
Exactly. Or they
it,
want to people please, they want to
yes,
whatever. But I think one of the most important like takeaways of what I'm saying with that is to remember that why the people who want to be around you, why do they want to be around you? And if doing certain things takes away from that part of who you are, takes away from, let's say, discipline is something that you take a lot of pride in and that people respect you for. Well, if you start letting your discipline waver because you're hanging around a bunch of undisciplined people, and you want to hang out with them, you want to do that stuff, well, now not only are you not the person that they can look up to, but you're not keeping your promises to yourself. So I mean, it's not always their fault. It's often,
accountability. Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
that makes sense.
I think that's a really important lesson that you just shared. I think and I think hopefully a lot of people resonate with that. I know I do. And not letting yourself. And I think Chris, you were the one that told me that to me at one point. Just like it's also your responsibility to not let yourself get drained by certain sources and be a little more protective of yourself because that was I could talk till I'm blue in the face about maybe some people I've had in my life that weren't good for me, but at the same time, I'm also responsible for making a change, right? Like they're
yes,
gonna be who they are, and that's what it is. It's also my responsibility to be conscious of who I'm letting in or letting take from me or whatever it is.
Yep.
So
yeah.
I think it's important. I did want to talk a bit about like so talk a bit about this off season and not that you haven't always, I mean, you've always been a great competitor, like you've always had a great physique, but obviously we've seen a drastic improvement since you were last on stage. And I'm just curious about what changed, like maybe it was coaching, mindset, maybe you took more time. Like what are some of the things you did to come back and was it fourth place at Pitt? It was fourth?
Fifth.
Fifth, fourth. So
I got fifth at all three of my shows this year.
so you've been
Five,
top
five,
five at all
five.
three, like how, including Pitt, which was obviously a stacked show. So talk to us a bit about what you did to make those changes.
So my best placing as a pro ever was my pro debut, actually, at Tampa Pro in 21 out of 44 athletes. Um, and of course, at the time, I didn't know how incredible that was at the time. It was my first pro show, and I don't follow the sport of bodybuilding. Like now, I do that I'm in it, but I didn't at the time. And then after that, the following year, I placed well. Also, I got some first call outs, and then I broke my foot, and I was having some other issues, and I left. I had been coached by Shelby Starnes. um we did amazing work together. I was with him for 3 years, and then I decided, I had some outside noise, and also I was young in the sport. I'm still young, but I was young in the
Right.
sport, and I had of a lot of learning to do, and I decided that I wanted to try on another coach. Simple as that. I wanted to see what someone else would do, because I got with Shelby in 2020, the year I went pro.
Right.
And so then I got with another coach, and then I broke my foot, and I decided that I wasn't going to compete that year. Um, and then my foot started to feel better, so I got with I'm not going to name names. I got with a coach who we did not have. I thought we had good communication, but we didn't, because he didn't like getting input from someone who's been doing this for a long time and knows their own body. That's fine. But it wasn't fine because I looked like dog shit on stage for 2 years. Um, the first year I was like, okay, I'm coming off a broken foot. We're new together. Okay. And then I gave it, another off season and another year on stage. And I 2024 is when I did New York Pro. And at 8 weeks out, 5 weeks out, 3 weeks out, I said, I'm not lean enough. And I just got gaslit. You are lean. I was like, I've been lean before. I'm not lean. This isn't working. I'm not trying to be critical. I'm just saying we need to change our course of action. He didn't like that. He put me on stage anyway. For reference, I was 12 pounds lighter on stage this year at Pittsburgh than I was in New York.
Wow.
Yeah. So I was not lean enough. I did not place in New York. I don't think I got, I think it was, I don't know. I don't think I placed at all. And yeah, so in October, I was looking at my pictures from, and given in all this time, I never really had a coach who was like really good at like blood work and gut health, right? I mean, coaches will look at it, they'll make sure that everything is fine. But I think it's important to understand who you're hiring and what their wheelhouse is.
Mm.
And you cannot get mad at your coach for not doing stuff that they don't do. And some people have whole teams of coaches for different things, and that's fine. That's great. You need that. But I let everything slide because I wanted it to be like fine. I didn't have a lot of money. I just, I was like, this should be good enough. I'll just follow the plan. It should be good enough. And then, without healing very much, I still worked very hard after New York Pro. After New York Pro last year, 24, I took about 3 months off the gym. I was just boxing. My body was so sad and my head was not in a good spot. Training did not feel good. I went when I felt like it, but I didn't force anything on myself. So also between the seasons from last year to this year, I didn't really grow. The year before that, I definitely grew a lot, but I didn't really grow very much given the 12-pound lighter, you can tell by that. My structure looks great, but and that's okay because this previous off season for me was not about growing. It was about getting to a good place to have a good prep, to have my body respond well. And the size of your muscle is just one component. There's so many other things that have to go into it. So having previously been with Shelby, I reached out to him in October last year, and I was like, "Hey, remember what I looked like in 21? I was like, I want to look like that again. Like, and I know you'll push me." I was like, "Let's do it." He was like, "All right, cool." So that's what we did. We did that. And obviously, I've put on a lot of muscle since 2021, and I've become a more complete athlete. And through my experiences with different coaches and different protocols and all of that. And I went to a coach that I communicate very well with and have a lot of trust in, and I gave myself the rest I needed going into this season. I've put myself around the right people, and I'm not going to say every choice I made is golden and correct by any means, but I put a lot of effort and, again, the word intention into each move I made. Even when I traveled across the country at 6 weeks out from Pittsburgh. I put thought into that too.
That was crazy. That was insane.
For my shows, I drove from Tampa to Denver at 6 weeks out. Then at 4 weeks out, I went to that concert. And then at 2 weeks out, I then shipped all my things to New Jersey. I stayed with Tiff Rozzi, and I left my car in Denver. went to New Jersey, competed in Pittsburgh. I stayed in New Jersey for a couple more weeks. Then I competed at Louisiana, the Optimum Pro, where I linked up with Rachel Daniels. And then I shipped my stuff to Tampa, competed at Louisiana, then went to Tampa from New Jersey. Then when I got to Tampa, I did one more show. Then I went to Alabama and competed. So
So your stuff was just following you around. So
That's
wait, but
crazy.
you got rid of your apartment in Tampa during the time? So you were technically homeless.
I got rid of everything I owned. Yeah,
This might have to be the tagline of this episode. She was homeless.
I I
Homeless
gave
to
I
fifth
gave
and
my
Penn.
TVs to my neighbor. I gave my couches to my friend, and I put all of my appliances out on the area at the complex where people can just pick stuff up if they want it. I was out.
Garage sale.
That
Garage
just
sale.
takes an immense amount of like dedication and
But it seems
uh
like I mean, you operate well in this kind of
chaos.
like you get ants. You're just like having nothing going on seems to just not work for you. So,
I, I
it's
I
kind
was
of
prior military, so li living out of a suitcase was like, a norm for me. But, to see that you're not in the military doing this is just crazy. It's intense.
Well, listen, it's not as it from the outside. It seems very chaotic. I know that, and yes, it is chaotic. However, there's purpose behind it. In that, like I mentioned, I was coming out of a couple years really of just my headspace not being great, and then having a better understanding of what I need for myself. Um, I had too much stuff, and I didn't have anywhere to put it. I didn't know how to get rid of it. So to put myself in this crunched position, my lease is up. I'm 6 weeks out of these shows. I'm going to stay with my friend across the
Mhm.
country. I had to get rid of everything.
Yeah.
And what that allowed for me is to get rid of all these material things. It brought me so much peace. And I own so much less now. And guess what? It's fine.
Yeah.
I even when I like traveled to the shows and I packed for like a week, I was like, I could live with this. So to teach myself to minimize, I mean, that is a huge relief to not be, with Amazon and all that. You think of something, you get it, you just have it. I don't want any shit anymore. I want it gone. And this gave me a reason to let go of it all.
funny you mentioned
So
that.
as chaotic as it looks from the outside,
Yeah.
again, very
There's
intentional.
That's
intention.
I could, and it actually makes perfect sense too. It's like a freeing exercise, and funny you say that because I just spent the last week from Amazon. I'm setting up like LED lights over my apartment because I just want like a full Zen zone. But that's really cool lesson there in terms of just ripping the Band-Aid and freeing yourself.
Yeah.
So you're back in Tampa now, and you staying in Florida for good, or just you're living moment to moment?
Um, I have, since I came back from all of that, I actually have a whole like elevated circle of friends here. Like my relationships are so much more meaningful and intense. Not that they weren't before I left, but it was again like this reset. And I I have my people here, and there's so much that I'm doing. I hired a coach who goes to the same gym as me, Andrew Barry, um, and he's phenomenal. I met him because I'm here right now. Uh, I have a lot more life to suck out of this place, so I'm not done here. With that said, though, I do have friends around the country. Denver was one of my favorite places I've ever been. If not, it was my favorite place I've ever been.
Really?
What part of Denver?
Uh, well, I was in Littleton, which is like 30 minutes south of the city. And, I hiked in the Flatiron Mountains. And that was ever since I did that. I've lived in Tampa for 2 years. But ever since I did that, I came back to Tampa. I've been going for walks on the beach almost every single day. It I need to be outside. I learned to connect with nature. And important note on that, for me at least, is the past 2 years when I was kind of spiraling, I was doing a lot of psychedelics. And it kept me going, but it also really fucked with my head. And all of this connection with nature, I haven't been on anything. This is all like from the inside, like it's giving me something that I was looking for
Right.
Yep.
in these other substances. Well, guess what? I haven't used them since way before that, because I knew I needed to reset my dopamine. Um, and prep is hard on all of that anyway. But getting outside, being in the mountains, that feeling that I had, it was so incredible, and I brought that with me here. Um, so I guess to answer your question, I want to spend a lot of time in Denver. One of my best friends lives out there, and her basement is mine if I want it, and I'm very blessed and grateful for that. And then I have like this is Rachel's house, and she lets me, I another one
Oh,
of my
so
best
you don't
friends in the
have an
world.
apartment in Tampa yet. You're still kind of in the
Oh,
in.
I'm not getting one. I,
Oh,
I I pay Rachel rent,
wow.
and I live here now.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I told you I have the best freaking friends in the
Oh, wait,
world.
so she said she would come on the pod at some point, so hopefully we can get at her before the Olympia. But
Yeah.
I actually just joined on the same apparel brand as she did, Black Death.
Oh,
So
sick.
I signed with them
Congrats.
yesterday. Yeah. Um, yeah, no, super cool. I connected with Rachel because I also have a bad back and she had back surgery. So I was just asking her some questions about that. Because I'm probably getting my surgery at the end of the season. So
You're
uh,
going to get it?
yeah, yeah. But mine's not like hers. Hers is like rods up. Like mine is just like a very minimally invasive, like partial fusion at the bottom, whereas she did like old school, and it was just so motivating because I was so in the dumps at that time, like mentally, so much pain, having to go to the ER, having to rely on steroid medication, and I just wanted to, I guess, some like assurance that it's possible. Like I knew I could get through stuff. I've gone through knee surgeries, everything, but like hearing her tell, like seeing her, the best poser in the league, I don't think it's even up for debate. Being able to move like she does with the old school surgery she had, I was like, as soon as she explained it to me and what her experience was, I'm like, yeah, this is no problem. And my back has, I've actually had fewer flare-ups since, I think, just because mentally I'm a little bit more at peace with the situation. So,
Crazy
um,
how that works.
it is. And I appreciate that she shows like athletes need to be, I like when athletes are very open about their hardships because so many people are going through stuff too. And as soon as I saw her story, so all of a sudden I start connecting with other pros that were having similar problems. And then you don't feel as alone, right? Because I think sometimes you go through something hard and you feel like siloed in your own bubble. And then you realize, hey, like other people go through the same thing.
Yeah, not only do other people go through the same thing, but if it's any consolation for anyone out there, when you go through hard stuff, first of all, I like to think, and it took me a while to create this mindset for myself. With low lows come high highs. You're not going to go through some shit and then not eventually experience something equally awesome in contrast. It's going to happen. But also, those hard times, when you choose how you're going to think and who you're going to be, that creates resilience. And resilience is what you need to get to the top of anything. So, some adversity in general sucks,
Yeah.
but you need it to become that person that you see yourself to be capable of becoming. That's the only way is through that.
I remember when I tore my knee a second time, a doctor told me it was like, you're never gonna play again. You're not gonna be able to deadlift again. You're not gonna do all this stuff. And I literally turned to my mom, who's in the room with me. I was like, we're getting a second opinion. And I found a different surgeon, the Yankee surgeon, got my knee surgery, and then made the England national team and won a European championship. So it's like, fuck that. Fuck the negativity. Fuck the naysayers. That's why, like, when something goes wrong with me, I only work with doctors. I work with athletes because we just think and operate differently. I don't want to
Yeah.
go to a place where it's like I had one doctor because my back, he told me, I think it was like 10, 15 years ago. He was like, you should just swim. Like, why do you need to lift? I'm like, And I literally got up and left. I was like, that's just like the dumbest question I've ever heard. Like,
I had when I was like 12 or 13, I had like degenerative discs in my back, like
yep.
pre-degenerative disc, whatever. And the doctor told me, I can't do I can't like do ab movements, I can't do whatever. And at that point, I was just an athlete. I hadn't really started lifting that much yet. And after that doctor's visit, where he told me not to do stuff, I started hitting back directly. And that's when I actually initiated breaking things down in a muscle group. I started hitting back, I started doing abs. Guess what? I've not had an issue since. Well, except now I've got a whole other plethora of issues, but
Yeah.
unrelated to
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. No, I mean, I've altered my training and I don't need to deadlift 415 pounds anymore, right? Like, I have different sport. I was training
I
for,
want to.
I want to, I would love to do, I do miss deadlifting, but like
I
right
do
now for
too.
my goals, I don't need it to be, especially men's physique. Like, I just don't need it. Like, would I love
Well,
to rack
not
pull and
only do
stuff?
you not need it, but it would be detrimental.
Right. And I'm lucky because it gave me a good base training like that. Like I got a good base and I started bodybuilding in my 30s. So it's like I had that ability to not have to do it. Whereas, obviously if you start with that problem, it's going to be difficult. So luckily I had the base to kind of be able to do other things and get good results. But yeah, no, I agree with that. Curious, what was your feedback after Pitt? Like what's next for you? I know you're in this transition. You're just being healthy now and being very mindful and in touch with yourself. But like, what was the feedback and what's the plan kind of moving forward?
A feedback, they love my condition. They want more quad sweep and more delts, and I know that, and I agree. Um, yeah, I mean, very plain and simple, and after placing fifth at all three of my shows, and I've gotten plenty of messages from people that I do highly value their opinions, saying like, oh, keep going this year, you're going to qualify. And two things. First of all, fifth place, three times in a row, no movement from there. The universe is telling me I got to fix my shit before I'm going to move. So I decided to pull back for that reason. And then also, on top of that, if I did keep going this year and I did qualify, I would not have time to rest. I would be so tired. I would have been prepping since January, February, whenever I officially started. And the Olympia would be my worst physique of the season. And I think that's really important to recognize. Because the only way that I could have qualified is if I stayed in prep until about now, Chicago, Tampa time, qualified now. That's not enough time to pull back. So you got to stay in it
Yeah,
all
because
through.
your body's already used to that cardio and everything. There's no pulling back at that point.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you can't pull out drugs and reset and
The
everything.
stimulus, yeah.
Yeah. So, but your physique is also tired mentally. You're tired. It's no one can stay in that mode for 10 months, you know? Um so I was like, also, the sooner I go into this health phase off season, the sooner I can make the improvements that I need to make. Like, why would I? That's another thing for all of you NPC people who want to compete year after year after year after year. Do you want to improve? Do you want to get better? Like, it's not about how many times you can get on stage. It's about the quality of what you're bringing to the stage. So just relax, find the improvements you have to make. It is important to get on stage, see where you're at. I'm not saying don't compete, but I'm just saying if you just want to do this to continue to get on stage, then you're probably missing out on improvements that you could be making. Um, so I decided to, pull out, do this, work on my. Really, what I'm doing is I'm setting a foundation for myself with my gut health and hormones. Um, I started therapy, like mental health therapy, because it's from the inside out. I brought my best physique ever to the stage this year, and I wasn't totally good in my head. It's not that I think I look bad. Obviously, I didn't. My placings say otherwise.
Yep.
But you all just wait until my head space is healthy, my gut and hormones are healthy. and that's
Beast.
going to
Oh no,
reflect on
I
the outside.
no doubt about it. You're going to be at Olympia sooner than later. No doubt.
Yeah.
I think you can. I think you can win it. And I'm not just saying that because you're on our podcast. Like I said, when I met you in person, I said, no, I've been following your page for a while, and I knew I wasn't that shocked that you got top five at Pitt. I didn't mean it as an insult, but like I knew, like you're like I said, that feminine look is hard to get when you're building muscle. Like the figure division is just so interesting. Um,
Symmetry.
the symmetry, the look, and it's not just like you said, it's not just about being big, right? Like fine tuning is just as important, if not more important. So, I love the division. I think it's a great look, and I hope they keep rewarding your look because I do think it's the look that really is the division. If I had to think of like what figures should look like,
Thank you.
um,
Well, what I do have to do though, in terms of what my actual feedback was, bringing up my quad sweeps and my delts, um, structurally, I have a beautiful structure for figure that I didn't build my anatomy like that. I'm building upon it,
right.
but that's structurally I'm very blessed in that department. Um, Although my downfall when it comes to figure, I have a pretty wide waist compared to a lot of other figure athletes. And so because of that, I have to create even more dramatic illusions. And so that is exactly what I'm going to be working on this off season is just some lat thickness, delts, upper glute, quad sweeps, adductors, just things that are going to fill in these little gaps that will make me look complete in a way that the typical viewer would probably look at me now and think I'm, that's good. I don't know what's missing to make it, the most perfect aesthetic version, but I can look at myself and I can see exactly if this came up, how much more perfect can we
Oh
make
yeah,
this?
this is not your final form, and I know it's talk you up, but we definitely expect even better Mel next time. Like there's definitely room to grow, and I just think like if you keep this track of being so in tune with your mindset, I think it's going to be a dangerous package that you bring.
I
So,
agree.
but it's definitely important to keep on the path you're on because um
100%.
it's definitely a tiring exercise, just always being in tune with yourself and constantly bettering yourself, but it's definitely the right path for you. And I mean, do you think so would you say like you're kind of month by month you're seeing how this goes and it's like next year is the year to qualify, or are you just a little bit more like what happens happens? I'm just going to see how my look progresses, and if next year I don't feel like I can push for that Olympia, I'm going to take even more time. Like what's your some
Um,
people are just like, yeah, like this is my year and this is the year I'm gonna make it. And some people are a little bit more like, I'm gonna make it eventually and I don't care when that is.
I've I'm both, but I know that when that is will be next year. After seeing, like, I thought previously that this year was going to be the year, but now, in hindsight, I have an understanding of what my last off season was, what I was doing during this prep, and where my headspace was. And I, like I said, even if I had qualified, it wouldn't have been a magical Olympia prep. I would have felt like shit. So in hindsight, this was not my year, and that's
Yeah.
I mean, it was my year. It
Yeah.
was a great year. I figured a lot of stuff out, and I figured out how I'm going to go into next year. But like you said, with this mindset, with all the things I'm working on, from building a health foundation from the inside out, that's why I've also implemented like some functional fitness stuff. My physique was the best ever. My waist was the tightest back when I was um, in you know fresh out of high school, college, when I was doing this stuff all the time. And it's only in the past 3 years, 3 4 years since being a pro, that I only did bodybuilding things. And I think my mind and my physique suffered for that. So I think for me it's very important that I include things from my athletic foundation that I enjoy. And once again, I think what you see on the outside is a reflection of the inside. So I'm going to do things that feel good and make me happy. But obviously, like we talked about with the deadlifting, like be intentional about how it's going to affect your
Exactly.
physique.
Yeah.
I guarantee you, doing some sprints is going to do nothing but positive things to my physique. Um, Especially, I'm an enhanced athlete. My muscle's not going anywhere. It's not.
Yeah.
Even when I'm like right now, I'm not on anything, but yeah, I'm not worried about that. I'm just worried about being happy and healthy. So uh, I'm on week 6 of this health phase, and then I think we're doing 8 weeks total. I'll get blood work done again, all of that, check my gut again, the amount of supplements and shit that I've been taking. Oh my god. But it's working. I feel fantastic. And then we'll go into off season, and I intend to compete around the same time next year. New York Pro, Pittsburgh Pro.
Okay. So you're gonna go for the big ones.
Yeah, yeah. So when I did Tampa as my pro debut, like I said, I didn't follow bodybuilding. I didn't know that it mattered what show you did. I
Yeah.
didn't know Tampa was one of the biggest shows. And I still I believe if I'm gonna get on stage and win, I'm gonna get on stage and win. It doesn't matter who the judges are, it doesn't matter who the other athletes are. I'm not gonna pick and choose my shows. I'll get to the Olympia when I deserve to be in the Olympia.
Yeah.
And otherwise, I'm very proud of the physique I've built, of the person I am, of the bodybuilder that I am. So, I mean, I'm gonna get to the Olympia. I'm not really worried about that.
There you
Like,
go.
like with the timing, it'll happen. Um,
It's not if, it's when.
It
yeah,
will.
but
Um,
I'm pretty sure it's next year.
I think
Pretty
it's
sure.
important. I've said this before, but people talk about all are like the O is their goal, and anything short of that, it doesn't mean anything to them. Same thing with pro cards. People talk about their pro card, and I think it's a shame when people miss out on so many of the wins they get throughout the journey. Like it's such a shame, especially in NPC. I get so it just really bothers me when all people talk about is their pro card, and it's like, but you've
I
won
didn't even know
three.
what that was.
It's like people that have won several overalls and they can't be happy because they haven't got their pro card yet. It's like, do you know how few people get to win an overall? Like and it's really so
But
for me.
also,
Go ahead.
what when you win that pro card, then what?
Exactly.
Then what?
Then it's
What do
the
you do with it?
Olympia or bust, and it's like for me when I started training for in bodybuilding in 2020, like my ultimate goal was I want to get to the amateur Olympia, and I know it sounds stupid to some people because it's just the amateur Olympia, not the pro Olympia, but to me, especially when I started completely natural, like I was like, okay, if I can do the sport as healthy as possible and get to X point with how competitive it is nowadays, like I will be happy. Like, of course, now, especially now, I've supplemented with testosterone and things to help my body not just fight against itself, and it's now really making improvements. Like, yes, of course, pro card is in my mind. Like, I would like to, I'm gonna get my pro card, but that's not like I need to go to the amateur O first and look really good at nationals before I even worry about a pro card. Like step by step. I don't need to skip steps, you know what I mean? Like so for me, I plan on winning an overall on September 13th. But if it doesn't happen and I get my qualification anyway and go to the amateur Olympia and I bring my best physique ever, I will be so content with that. Like I will be so content with that.
So I'm trying to think of the best way to explain this because that's awesome. That's the way it should be. That's you're doing it. You you can be professional, act as a professional, perform as a professional without the label.
Exactly.
I approached a friend of mine today she's getting ready to compete in wellness. She looks phenomenal. She's not big enough to go pro in wellness yet, but the way she's prepped, the way her physique has come in. She's doing it like I don't even like saying like a professional. She's doing it professionally. She doesn't have that label yet. And I said to her, you know, I'm not, I don't want to make your head crazy. I don't want to whatever, but I do want to point out, I think you could go pro in bikini right now, and then you could build and go into wellness. And I'm not saying there's a right or wrong way to do it. But she was like, we had a very long conversation about it. She said, I it's not about going pro. It's about bringing the physique I want to bring and earning that. And I think that is so important. I did the same thing. I qualified or similar. I qualified for um, nationals when I was 19, leanest I'd ever been. I was natural at the time. And I decided I'm not getting back on stage until I'm ready to go pro. I took 4 years off of the stage. And then when I went back on, I turned pro. And I'm not saying anyone has to take 4 years. It's a very long time. I did a bunch of other stuff in that time. I put myself in treatment for an eating disorder. Had to take a year and a half off of training completely. Took another, year to get back into it. Then I worked toward my pro card, hired Shelby, and went pro. So there was a long time in there. But point being, doing it for just to get a pro card, just to be called a pro, but not actually take professional action is like calling someone your boyfriend or girlfriend just because they check boxes and you want to be in a relationship, but it sucks.
Right.
Wouldn't you rather, have something, build something wonderful than label something shitty?
And yeah, and the thing is, like, I took 18 months off for an off season to grow, right? Like, so a lot, and don't get me wrong, and I only started supplementing with gear this prep. I didn't even really take it in the off season. And a lot of people probably think, oh, well, finally you're on gear and you're making improvements. It's like, yes, of course the gear is helping, but it's more of like the gear it's
It's a
not
supplement.
it's not prohibiting me anymore. It's
Yeah.
actually not really helping me. It's just not me being natural isn't my body's not stopping itself anymore. It's not like the gear because I took posing so seriously, and Chris knows how much I practiced and put into it. But like I studied, I like my last coach, he's an Olympian, and I would play his videos over and over again. Start, stop, where's the foot? Where's every detail till I got it right. By the time by the time I worked with him, he was like, I don't need to work like you pose like me and like you're my best poser. I'm like, well, because I studied your videos, like, and I was OCD about it, and I just said, okay, look, I'm natural. I'm one of the smaller guys now. Like, what can I do in my controllables to give myself the best chance? Well, I could get posing inside and out. That has no dependence on anything else. That's not genetics. That's not nothing. Like, no, not who shows up. I can still pose great. So learning how to eat and follow the plan and not deviate. And obviously, like I've been a pro in another sport, so I'm just taking the same mindset over again. But I think like it's so important to control the variables because people talk about the gear all the time. My posing clients will tell me, "Oh, like I'm on trend, I'm on this, I'm on this." I'm like, "You haven't even done a show yet. Like, why?" And it's like, so I'm like, less is more, and I promise you that if you just throw gear in at the beginning, your stimulus, like everything's gonna be off. You're missing steps that you need to learn
Yeah, just like
properly.
make your body like that's what I'm doing now.
Yeah,
For everyone to understand, I'm off all gear. We're resetting my body from the foundation. I input food, output exercise. Like I mean, I'm taking health supplements to like make sure everything is good, but you can't a gear at some point it's going to be a band-aid or it's going to be it pushes you along for a little bit, but if you don't understand why you're using stuff or if you don't know if you don't know why you're using it, then it can't really be directed in helping you toward a certain thing.
right.
Like that's like the random guys who take all these gym guys who take 500 milligrams of test and they've never had their blood work done. They just know, oh, you take test, you get jacked. Well, no, now you're having issues with your hair, with your sex drive, with your skin, all of this stuff, and that's because
And you don't know how to train
more,
yet properly, and you don't know how to get the
right,
proper stimuli, and yeah.
more is not optimal.
And
Optimal is
I do
optimal.
want to preface and say that the main reason why I started getting on testosterone was because it was suffering in other parts of my life. Like my test had gone so low that it went to like 240. And
Yeah,
I'm 35. So it's like, okay, it's that time where my test is dropping. It's affecting how I work. I work in software sales. Like I work a corporate job, right? Like I have a lot to do, and it's like it's affecting my mood. I'm short, and so
You want to
what
be a fully functional human.
exactly. So for
Feel
me,
good.
getting on gear was literally the bodybuilding was a bonus. I was like, finally, I'm at peace with this decision because it makes sense for my life and it's going to help bodybuilding. And I didn't make that decision for bodybuilding. Bodybuilding just happened to be a bonus to it. And so I took it more as, and like I said, I'm on very little, very little.
And you
And
have a doctor monitoring
and
it
I
too,
get
Alex.
lower. I have
It's
a
not like
doctor. I refuse to go around that. I know I pay more, but like I get pharmaceutical grade stuff. Like that's why he also explained to me that's why my dose is so low because oftentimes you get gear elsewhere, it's not going to be as effective, and you have to take
Well,
higher
listen,
doses.
postmenopausal women have been on testosterone
yep.
for a long time because it normalizes you. It allows you to function properly.
Exactly.
Not even like, yes, you're functioning better than if you weren't on it, but it's not like better as in an enhanced version. It's
Right.
better as in proper.
Right.
And
And
optimal, like you
I've been
said,
Chris,
on
it's
like
a
Chris, I know you started the sport, you said the unhealthy way, and you've
yep.
completely changed the way you approach it now, and your body is responding to it, you know? Like,
And to Mel's point, if you're not in tune with yourself, these drugs could be a hindrance in you and dysregulating your central nervous system. And now your cortisol's up, your estradiol's up, and all these hormones are all over the place. And
And you're
yeah, I
ruining
mean,
all your relationships and all this.
exactly. Like why am I angry all the time? Yeah, it's because you're on 2 cc's
You're
of
like,
tren.
but my shoulders look huge. Okay, that's all you care about? All right, keep doing it
so
that way then.
Well,
Yeah.
what's your viewpoint on sport like right now, like as a whole bodybuilding, right? Like obviously with social media and all these new podcasts, like there's just so much of like an eyeball on bodybuilding, and I'm just curious, like, is there things you would change about the sport? Like what's your view on bodybuilding as a whole right now with where the industry is?
I think the world of biohacking that is, I wouldn't say it's coming out of bodybuilding, but it infiltrates the world of bodybuilding. And the people who are really paying attention to those sciences and how to make these amazing physiques uh, operate optimally and just get even crazier, but in a healthy, biologically friendly way.
Like peptides, you mean? Or
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. I think you know, focusing on that portion of it, that's pretty much what I pay attention to. Because to me, I do this because I think it's freaking incredible to see what the human body is capable of, and I want to honor that. Anything outside of that, I think there's a lot of noise. I don't think that's a fault of the industry. I think it's with fitness and everything being really big since Instagram became a thing. I think a lot of people. I don't want this to like sound negative because I don't mean it negative. I think there's a lot of good that comes out of it, but I think a lot of people get confused between doing something because they enjoy it and doing something to prove a point, to put on a facade, a show, or whatever. And I think that can be unfortunate, but I think that's so over there from what I think of as the bodybuilding world. I think the community is it's like a religion,
Yeah.
and not in a
Cultish.
Not in like a
yeah,
Scientology
not like
way.
in a
Yeah.
it just it gives like I was saying earlier, a light at the end of the tunnel, and it's just like we all congregate and we all find versions of ourselves. And like you asked me earlier, are a lot of my friends bodybuilders? Yes, most of them are. Um, but they're not, but and they're bodybuilders who have found a niche within bodybuilding. A growth mindset,
Right.
uh, optimizing mindset, and I think there's so much of that in the industry and on social media. And I think if you're noticing anything else and seeing anything else and looking at the negative comments of, I get comments from like gyms and people with the word fit in their names and all this stuff, like negative shit. That's not, let's not make that part of our world.
No.
Yeah.
So if we negate all of that, um, I think it's incredible, and it goes beyond just the NPC IFBB, right? There's other federations. I don't what's that the one that used to be WBFF. I don't know if that's still around.
I think it is.
Yeah, but there's really incredible variations. Um, I think the bodybuilding community is a celebration of the human body and art and science mixed together. And I
I
think it's the
don't
coolest fucking thing in the world.
I don't know how to explain it, but like I was a fan of bodybuilding before I became a bodybuilder. And like I think it was like 2016 I went to the Body Power Expo in the UK when I was living in England, and like the rush you get from being around bodybuilders, like I went being at the Olympia just as like a fan. It's just the people. I can't explain it to someone that's not in it, and I can barely explain it to people that are in it. It's just a feeling I get when I'm around these people. I will say that I feel like bodybuilding enhances who you really are. What I mean by that is like when I meet people in bodybuilding, I either love them or really want to stay far away from them. There's really not that many people that I meet in the sport that I'm like, about. And I just think it's because it really, really amplifies who you are as a human being. And I think it can make people incredible. It highlights the people that are just incredible. And it can also highlight the faults that a lot of people have. And I think that's why it's so beautiful. And I think it's a very black and white situation. Like,
I
either vibe with
agree.
someone or I know that energy is completely off for me. Um, but that's why like a lot of people I met through whether it's the podcast or things I do, I end up becoming friends with just because like there's so much synergy there and like how we think and how we operate. Like, and Chris and I think I told you when I met you, like we refuse to have people on this podcast that don't have that kind of mindset. Like we look at their Instagram beforehand, we make sure like we're only going to highlight the positives in the
Positivity.
sport.
Yeah.
We want to stay far away from the other side of it. We just
Yeah.
zero tolerance policy for that.
With
Yeah.
that being said, Mel, I think you're a great representative from the sport
You're a
just
fantastic
for
representative.
talking
Thank
for
you.
you for the past like hour and a
Yeah, I'm
half. I
sorry. I know
think
we probably took you a little longer than you expected, but like we could probably
No,
talk to
this
you for
is
days.
I can keep going. This is
Yeah,
fun.
we could talk to you for days, honestly. I think are you going to go to the Olympia this year? I'm assuming you are to
I
I
have
mean,
another. Yes, I'm going, but it's complicated. I'm
sure it is.
going.
Well, what
my so
route are you taking to the Olympia? Let's start with
no,
that.
literally, I'm going to my best friend who is in Denver. I missed her wedding because it was right between my shows.
Okay.
But her birthday is the same weekend as the Olympia. So I'm going to, but I'm going with Rachel to the Olympia. And I paid for part of her Airbnb and everything for the whole week. But I got to make some compromise here. So I'm going to miss Friday show at the Olympia because that's when I'm going to be in Denver. But
Okay.
I'm going to go, we're going to a show at Red Rocks in Denver on that Friday. And then I'm going to take a red eye and fly into Vegas Saturday morning and be there for the Olympia Saturday and to celebrate with Rachel through Monday.
Okay. So
So
there you go.
wait, so you're going to Vegas, then Denver, back to Vegas, or you're going to Denver and
now
then
I'm going to
Denver,
go to Denver
Vegas.
and then Vegas.
Vegas?
Yeah.
So you're gonna get there for the Saturday, basically.
Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
going to get there Saturday
Yeah,
morning.
I'm gonna fly out. We're flying out Sunday. My coach G is actually competing with me. We're doing the same show, same class, so it'll be fun.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, we're gonna fly out Sunday. Check-ins are Monday. The amateur women go Tuesday. Amateur men go Wednesday. And then it's just I love that it's before the pros because then I can kind of enjoy the rest
Chill.
of the week. Yeah,
You
in
can eat a
Vegas.
brownie. You can whatever.
Yeah, and obviously like I take my reverses seriously, so like I'm definitely gonna be kind of like careful, but of course I'm gonna let loose a little bit and enjoy it. But
You take your what seriously? Your reverse?
my reverse, yeah, like I want to make sure that I ride the reverse and get the benefits of it, but like I'm for sure gonna be having some meals out there.
Bro,
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean,
you're
look,
gonna
I'm
be in
not going to
Vegas,
be a
man.
bad influence, but like, look at me. I fucking ate whatever I wanted after the show, and
Oh
I'm doing
no.
all right.
Yeah,
There you go.
yeah, yeah. No, and I say to some people that are not in sport, my friends, that they'll be like, "Oh, I feel so bad. Like, you can't eat this, that." And I'm like, "Yeah, but you've never had a pizza after not having it for like 6, 8 months. You have no,
Yeah,
it's euphoric. Like, so like
yeah,
I'm totally fine with like not having something for a while, and then it just is that much better when I do have it. So like it's just I geek out over Olympia. I love Olympia weekend. It's just especially in Vegas, like that's just like the entertainment capital.
No,
I didn't want to do Amateur Olympia in Orlando. I wanted to do it in Vegas. And I'm just so excited for all the divisions. Like literally, like wellness is competitive. The classic without CBUM is actually even more competitive now. And
mhm.
and the men's physique is with all the OGs still in it for like the last time. Like it's gonna be really cool. You have the clash of the new guys and the older generation going at it. And then the open with Nick Walker making his improvements coming back, like super pumped for all of it. It's
It's cool. It's
yeah.
cool.
We'll have to well maybe we'll see out there. You know, it's gonna be I love going to these events. You just like it's such a small world. You see people you know and
I
yeah,
like I was telling someone the other day that like my best friends are all in different cities, but I see them multiple times a year at these
exactly. You go
events.
to shows and it's like everyone's there. I was
Yeah.
just at Universe in New Jersey and I'm seeing all these people I know. Yeah.
Yeah, like that's where, but I know we're finishing up, but I think what's important about the people that we meet in the industry is that you can be sure that they are hard at work on themselves as individuals. And that's what makes them so attractive to be around and also so special when you do get to be around each other.
What I love that
That
because
that's beautiful.
I look at
Yeah.
this as a journey and I love being able to share that journey with other people while they're on their journey, where the journeys are all together. Like even if it's my coach and I going against each other at a pro qualifier, I don't care. I if he ends up getting his pro card but I'm on the stage with him, that is going to be awesome, and I would be so happy for him. So it's like I am going to beat him. I'm trying to beat him though, but like you know what I'm saying? Like it
Yeah,
doesn't have to be. It's a weird sport, right? Because when do you see Tom Brady and Eli Manning training together right before they go against each other at the Super Bowl, right? It
right.
doesn't happen. In bodybuilding, like Terrence will work out with, Kaiki or someone. It's like they're about to
Yeah.
go, and that's why I think this sport is so unique.
It's everyone wants to see the best version of themselves and of others because you want to be the best of the best. So
Yeah.
I don't want you to show up any worse than you possibly could be because I want to like if I'm really the best, then I'm the best me is going to beat
Exactly.
the best you.
Right. And guess what? They're on their own journey. Everyone's gonna get their time, their shot. Like it's all gonna happen. But yeah, I do want to quick shout out to our sponsor, Wolfpack. This podcast is brought to you by Wolfpack. We align with their mindset of never average, always a wolf. Use code LIFTIT at checkout and make your mark. Um, Mel, we're gonna want to have you back on. Like we say this to
Okay.
a lot of our guests, but like for sure we
Ne
need to get you back
next
on.
year when she gets her
Yeah,
O
I want to get you
qualifier.
back definitely next year. We would love to have you on and talk about, going for your O qualification. We also want to get into more like potentially even commentating like live streams and like going over shows together or maybe reviewing. And it'd be cool to get your perspective on figure maybe. Like we'll
That'd
pick
be
a
awesome.
show and like maybe we could do like a live together and we like watch stream and commentate just because I think that's part of the sport that I think could get better in terms of like sharing and talking. So, so many ideas, but you've been an awesome guest. This has been a blast. And but I'm we're all in Florida, so we'll have to get a lift in at some point.
Yeah. You make your way to
Well,
MI40.
I do want to try out MI40. It's one of the gyms I haven't been to yet, so I definitely want. So what I'll do is I'll definitely when I go, I'll let you know. We'll have to
Yeah, just hit
plan
me
that
up.
out. And I'm gonna do Metroflex with Ben Cole tomorrow. Um,
Awesome.
yeah, so it's Tampa, Florida, Lauderdale, it's such a hub of bodybuilding. Everyone, yeah, especially Tampa now. Like,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's like every
We're
third
here.
person's a bodybuilder.
Yeah. I
Um,
sorry. There's so much more I want to say.
go,
I
go.
was going on a walk around like there's a bunch of apartments and stuff near MI40. I was walking around, and it was just it's not beyond me that every person I see is fucking jacked just walking around. I'm like, what other place is like this?
It,
Yeah, Tampa's definitely becoming one of the bodybuilding meccas, man.
Cool. It's
because
cool.
Las Vegas is known for for being, the Mecca, but now Tampa is like really growing into that.
Well, I think Vegas is still relatively new in bodybuilding. I mean, it's popped off now, but I know some of those gyms are fairly new. But Miami is more of like an all, I used to live in Brickell, more of an all-around fitness kind of culture. It's more of an influencer style of, it's not the same. Fort Lauderdale is decent, but like I would say, yeah, Tampa is probably the capital of bodybuilding in Florida right now. Because I know a lot
All
of the
right,
people that
you're
I know,
way over.
I know a lot of people from LA, I think moved over like James English, a lot of the young LA people, like they ended up our aunt Montanello and his girlfriend who just competed pro in her debut at Tampa. It's like a lot of the people that were kind of went to LA to kind of network and everything are now moving to Tampa. And then what, like Matt Grego, Derek
Mm.
Lunsford. He just opened a gym, right? Derek
Yeah,
Lunsford.
yeah.
What's that one called?
It starts with a C.
Huh.
I forget what it's called, but it's over in like St. Pete area ish.
I do love the Raw Athletic Club in Stewart, Port St. Lucie. Uh,
Hmm. I
those
went there once, like a couple years
they're
ago.
great. I love them. But Mel, really, thank you for your time. Like this has been so much fun. And we can't wait to have you back on and see what you do. You're a friend of the pod now, and we're gonna be rooting for you. And
Thank you.
100% we will be out there at the Olympia supporting you when you get there. So next
Yeah,
year,
Next year.
next year. Yep,
yeah, that's right. All right,
absolutely.
Chris, Alex, thank you for having me. This
Yeah,
is fun.
for sure. All right, Mel. We'll see you soon.
Bye.
Bye. Oh, wait. We didn't take our photo yet. We gotta take our for Instagram. 1 second. How did I almost
Of
forget that?
course.
Hold on. All right, Mel. It's been a pleasure. And yeah, we'll have to plan a MI40 workout at some point. Chris, you can come up too.
Sounds good.
All right,
All
guys.
right. See you soon.
Bye.